Some tips and ideas for float training today. Firstly, before we even go to the float, we're going to make sure our controls are sorted out. Left hand is softly going to ask her to go forward, and right hand is going to reinforce that. We can't pull a horse on a float. There's no way we'll physically be able to do that. As well as the horses tend to lift their head in response, which then they get worried about bumping the head on the roof of the float. So we're going to make it uncomfortable with the stick. The stick does most of the work. The left hand, as I said, is very soft. The stick is also very easy to handle and deal with for most people. You can swing a lead rope and do it. I've seen them bumped with a lariat rope. There's quite a few things, but a stick is good where we can use it easily, not get tangled up, but we can also see, like right there, we can instantly stop using it. So our horses gets that immediate feedback that they're getting things correct as we would like them to do it. We can also rub with that stick, so the stick can reassure them as well. So I don't want a horse scared of sticks, or if I pick up a stick, I don't want my horse to feel threatened by it. I may rub them with the stick, I may tap them with the stick. Most of what I do will be in response to their behavior. So we're trying to make things as uncomfortable as we can outside and comfortable inside. Now what it causes to make some horses uncomfortable might be I just glare at them funny and hold a stick and they get uncomfortable and want to do something about it. Other horses I might have to put quite a bit of pressure on before they're really going to take any notice. So it's very much up to the sensitivity level of your horse. But the basic premise is making the outside uncomfortable and the inside comfortable. Also regarding pressure, you have to make the outside more uncomfortable than their fear of going onto a float. I sympathize greatly with the horses, as putting them on a box is almost like a coffin space for them, and we take away all their natural defenses to run away or kick or strike or bite. So I totally understand why they would be so reluctant, and it's a good thing to keep in mind. And a lot of praise when they look like going on, a lot of rubbing down when they look like they're going to make it. This filly keeps trying to step off to the side, which is a very important point. A lot of horses will walk up, they'll move their hips over to the side, and people will take them away from the float to line them up straight and bring them back. And the horses just kind of take it as, well, I move my bum over to the side and they take me away from the float. The fact that you bring them back doesn't really mean any consequence to them at all. We had a little gear change there. The stick I was using was quite heavy, which was good because it had a bumping feel, and we want a bump more than a lash feel. This stick was a lot lighter. It was still quite thick and it was still bumping, so that's why I was happy to swap over. This filly actually took quite a while to get to this point. Some people use a horsemanship flag, as they say. The flag really is not totally necessary at this point. It's just something to bump her and make things uncomfortable for her. I need to stand to her side out of her way so she can go forward. And again, my left hand very soft, right hand doing the heavy work. I'm not going to go all the way on straight away. I'm going to go on, back off. I might go on a step or two and back off. Depends on how hard the horse is finding the whole procedure. So some horses I'll need to back off and give them a mental and physical break from the float before they're happy to go forward again. So this mare on that day, we probably went forward and back at least a dozen or more times before we went on. And then overall we would have put her on completely about 20 times or so. Because of this angle load on this float, she had to get used to me being on either side floating. I do the near side because it's, as I'm right-handed, that's the easier way to do it, to get the bulk of the work done, and then I went to her offside. You can turn a horse around and walk out. This horse was short enough and flexible enough and happy enough to do that. We need to make sure she walks off very slow and stays controlled all the way down. Not always recommended, because if your horse does bump the sides and panic, they'll turn around in a hurry and jump out of there, and they may run into you on the way out. Usually much better to go straight on and back out. G'day, thank you so much for watching. If you could like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, that would be awesome. Thank you. Cheers. We'll tend to thread the lead rope up through the top but not tie. So I can assist in asking her to keep her head up there, but I don't want to pull on it or hold it too much while I'm doing up that crossbar or the bum bar in the case of a straight load. Also, for straight loading, we need to make sure they're good on both sides so that I can send the horse onto either side of the float. Very important to come back a step and stop and step and stop. Make sure that horse is backing off nice. They can get to load from further distances and weirder positions as they get more confident. I kind of find sometimes people get pretty showy about that, but obviously I need to do up the bum bar and lift the tailgate, so there's not much point me working up to doing much more. I do want to know that she'll walk up to the float and pretty much get on herself without me having to escort her up. But this filly hadn't been floated much and she had quite a few problems, so we took our time making sure everything was good. So there we threaded that lead rope just quietly through the loop at the front, and I held it by hand to make sure it doesn't get caught up, and that just assisted to keep her up in that spot while we did the bum bar. And again, a lot of praise, trying to make it very comfortable up inside the float. The hard thing to know when it comes to doing this job, a lot of people are okay with the procedure, but they're knowing when to do more and do less, to stop and give the horse a break, when it's okay to be a little more assertive, and when the horse is really looking for a friend and praise. Anyway, I hope that gives you a few good ideas for the floating process, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.